Hopefully.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Bullish on Business. Today, we have a powerhouse who is literally woven into the fabric of Northwest Michigan, Brayton Farr. Hi, Brayton.
Hey, how's it going? Glad to be here.
Good to have you. He isn't just a mortgage pro or a life insurance strategist or a business systems guy. He is a community engine. And if you know him, you know what I'm talking about. But for those who don't, buckle up. He grew up in Northport, beautiful town, a little town in northern Michigan, and he carries that small town heart into everything he does and has turned it into a big impact mission. Now he's juggling citywide mortgage, partnering with Farmers Insurance on life and key person policies, and running his own business optimization firm, Solutions by Farr, where he helps entrepreneurs stop spinning their wheels and finally get their systems under control. And if that didn't keep him busy enough, he's also one of the most plugged in community activists in the Lower Peninsula. Events, volunteering, showing up, lifting people up, and actually making Northern Michigan stronger. This guy is the definition of boots on the ground leadership. And we are going to dig into his journey, his service mindset, and how he's building three businesses while energizing an entire region. Braden, welcome to the show. Let's charge right in.
Yeah, let's jump in.
Okay, very
Excited.
cool. Well, you built a career that blends community service with business growth. What's the thread that ties your journey together?
Yeah, it's definitely community. I grew up in Northport and seventh generation from there. My family had a small mechanical contracting company. My grandpa and uncle are master plumbers and electricians. My dad worked for GM for 30 years. So I saw the work ethic from all of them and my mom and grandma and aunt as well. And just watching that work ethic and how everybody was so interwoven in the community, that's what drives me. Like I moved away for a little while to Grand Rapids, went to college, bought a house junior year, and stayed down there for about 9.5, 10 years. And I really miss the community. Like Grand Rapids has great community, but it's very pocketed and separated. In Northern Michigan, we're all here. I can go to the grocery store and run into three people I know. I went to a ribbon cutting today and ran into somebody I knew. She popped out of a restaurant to say hi. And I really miss that. And I love that so much. So it's definitely the community and the connections with everybody here.
That's so
Yeah.
fantastic. That is so good. Seven generations. That's a
Yeah.
lot of generations.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you are just
I love it.
deeply embedded.
Yeah.
Well, you've worked in insurance and mortgage for years.
Yeah.
You really do have a deep, deep skill set there. What's the biggest misconception, people have? Sometimes people don't even think about life insurance, but once or twice, and then they do or they don't sign up.
Mhm.
It's not something on top of mind. And then again, with the whole mortgage, that's something if you maybe buy three or four homes in your lifetime.
Yep.
So you really don't have that in your presence of mind. But it's so important for their
Yeah.
financial future.
Yeah.
So what's the biggest kind of misconception people have
Yeah.
about that?
I think the biggest misconception is that it's very difficult to navigate and very expensive to navigate. And that's why I got into it. I knew I wanted to go to business school. I knew that forever. I mean, I was selling candy bars as an entrepreneur when I was little. Like I knew I wanted to go into business. I had no idea what I wanted to go into. I bought my house junior year and I was 21 and going to different banks and trying to get a mortgage was a nightmare. And I'm like, it shouldn't be this difficult. And I was a junior in school going for finance, and it still was hard to navigate. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, it
Wow.
shouldn't be this bad.
Right.
So I'm like, how can I make an impact and make it better? And I fell into insurance first. So I took an insurance elective class that same year because same thing. I'm like, I have insurance. I had a car. I was buying a house and like I had to get insurance for the house. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means. So I'm
Right.
like, I might as well understand it. And the textbook was that thick. Like it wasn't a pre-licensure class. It was just an elective business class. It should have been a pre-licensure class. Like totally should have been able to take the test after, but that wasn't my plan. I was like, oh, I'm not going to do insurance. Well, senior year comes around. I was working at a bank and they switched things up and moved it. So the temps moved in and they couldn't hire me full time. And I was like, well, I just graduated college. Like I need to work full time. So I fell into insurance and really loved it, really enjoyed
Mhm.
it because I'm analytical. I love reading the policy language. I love understanding the differences in the
Mm.
coverages and explaining that in simple terms to people and not charging them an arm and a leg and not making it difficult. Like it shouldn't be
Mm.
difficult to navigate. If these are things we all have to have, we have to have insurance. Like Michigan requires auto insurance.
Mhm.
Home insurance, you're not required to have, but it's really good to have. If you have a mortgage, it's required.
Right.
And then life insurance is huge. You know, the
Mhm.
impact that it can have on families or even businesses.
Mhm.
There are a ton of small businesses in northern Michigan and a lot of partnerships. And often one person is really good at X and another person's really good at Z. And without X and Z, the company doesn't operate. Like it doesn't work. So
Mhm.
that's where like a key person life insurance policy can come in force and take over for the person that unfortunately passed away unexpectedly. So there's that piece too that often isn't talked about, or how
Mhm.
much coverage. You know, often people
Mhm.
have an X amount through work and they're like, oh, I've got coverage through work. I'm like, is it enough?
Right.
I'm like, personally, I have two plots in the cemetery in Northport that I've had for probably three generations. And I tell my family and friends that if I'm on the other side of the world and pass away, I don't want to be cremated. Fly my body to Northport and put me in Northport. Like that's where I
Right.
want to be. So
Oh,
that's important to me. And I have enough coverage that no matter where I'm at, I can be flown home.
oh, fantastic.
So it's things like that where it's
I
that kind
never
of
even thought of
conversation.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, so that important.
Yeah. And
Wow.
like I'm always warm. Like I have warm Norwegian blood. My grandma and I are always hot. And I'm like, I don't want to be cremated. I don't want to be
No,
burned.
I
I'm
don't
hot
either.
enough. So put me in the ground. I don't
Right.
want to be warm.
Yeah.
So that's
It's very
something that's important.
popular, but
Yeah.
I don't want to do that either.
Yeah. So yeah, as far
So
as
those are
misconception, yeah.
misconceptions. And so what would trigger someone to what kind of trigger or thought process really helps someone realize, I mean, you mentioned the key person insurance and that it could be the demise of the whole business
Yeah.
if something were to happen. And we just found out this week that one of our dear friends passed away in his sleep the other day. So it can happen
Yeah.
at any time.
Yeah.
It really can.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that was such a surprise. So key person insurance is huge for small business stability. How do you explain it's important to entrepreneurs who think of it like, hey, I'm just too small. We're little. And
Yeah.
how do you approach smaller businesses that feel that it's not in there?
Yeah. Typically, if it's a partnership, to talk about the pros and cons of each partner. I mean, nine times out of 10, one is great at one thing, one's great at another. They don't want to do the other person's job. I'm a finance guy. I personally hate accounting. Like, I don't want
Hmm.
to do my tax returns. I have a CPA. I give him my stack of my life, and he does it, and he's amazing, and it's great. If you don't know Ralph Munch at Lakewood's Tax, highly recommend him. But I can give him my stack, and like, I don't want to do the accounting. So I don't want to do that. And most of the time, in a company, same thing. Like you may have a salesperson that's really outgoing, really extroverted, and then you have an introvert that's really good with the books and the back end, and
Mhm.
like they don't want to do each other's role. So that's where having that key person conversation is really important.
Mhm.
If they're a startup or a small entrepreneur and they're maybe a one person company, the benefit to their family. That's where if they're the sole breadwinner and or maybe not, but it's a dual income household and both incomes are supporting, which often we're seeing more and more of that. We're even seeing that generationally where it's two generations living together to support themselves. And so in that case, you know, the business is the money and the revenue generator
That's
for the
right.
family.
For the whole family.
And without the business, what's going to happen? What's the plan there? So
Right.
that's where that conversation to really think about it early on to say,
Hmm.
ooh, and I've noticed too, a lot of people are leaving bigger companies to start their own, which is amazing, but they had benefits with the company. They didn't have to think about it. And now they've got to get it on their own, which
Hmm.
is not hard to navigate, but it's important to make sure they have something in
And
place.
so if we're triggering a person to say, hey, that's a good idea, will we be able to put your details in the show notes
Yeah,
so that they
absolutely.
will be able to?
Yeah,
So if
it's
you'd like to talk to Brayton about your life insurance or your key person insurance. We'll definitely give you access to that information and sit down and just have a conversation about how that might impact your work life and your family.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've made
that's
it
so
super easy.
important.
So with my business Solutions by Farr, I am very creative and very solution oriented. So I actually have the domain Brayton.life. That's all you have to plug into your browser and your phone, your computer, Brayton.life, and you can find all the life insurance information. Same thing on the mortgage side, Brayton.loans. That's all you have to plug in, pulls
Okay.
up Citywide Home Mortgage, you get all the mortgage info, and then Brayton.solutions for Solutions by Farr. That's all you need to know.
Fantastic. So Brayton
Yep. Dot
dot
life.
life.
Loans, solutions. That simple.
Very
Yeah.
simple. Very good. You're so good with the technology too. And we're definitely going to jump on that in a minute.
Yeah.
So let's talk citywide mortgage.
Yeah.
What's changing in the lending world that most buyers and business owners aren't paying attention to?
Yeah. So everybody loves to blame rates. So I'll just get that out of the way in the
Yeah.
beginning.
Are
And
they bad right now?
no, they're great. They're
Okay.
almost an entire percent down from January,
Oh,
which is huge. But nobody's talking about it because they only talk about it when it goes up. They don't talk about it when it goes down.
okay. So, but
Um,
that's a good thing for us,
It's a great thing. And
for
it for
buyers
buyers
and
and
for
for
sellers.
sellers, it's
Yeah.
huge because it opens up, if you got a house in 2020 and you're at 3.5% or 4%, and then rates were 7, 8%, it's a lot harder for you to move if you've created a family or you've outgrown your house, or maybe you have a home-based business where you need a home office.
Mm.
And now to go from 3 or 4% to 6.2%, it's a lot easier of a jump.
Mm.
So that definitely helps sellers too. But then buyers, yeah, you definitely qualify for more. The hardest thing I think in our area is inventory. It really
Oh.
is.
Mhm.
We don't have enough houses. We're thousands of housing units behind. The trades are growing in the area, which is great, but
Mm-hmm.
it was really hard hit during the recession. And a lot of people, myself included, were like, you got to go to college, you got to go to college. Well, you can almost make more in the trades today than
Right.
going to college. So
Right.
we need more people in the trades to be able to build. And there's some really cool technologies like NMC is a 3D printer now. And
Mm-hmm.
so there's some new technologies that are coming out to help build more inventory, which will help.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the local builders are thinking outside the box. And we even have some realtors that are buying up land and starting developments, which is amazing. So it's definitely going in that direction. It's just slower moving. But
Mm-hmm.
inventory, I think, is the hardest thing. There's a lot of AI, there's a lot of tech out there. I don't really think it's going to change the industry much yet,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a really person industry. Like
Mm-hmm.
in all the years of doing mortgages, I don't think I've ever talked to two clients that are in the same situation.
Wow.
Sometimes it's an individual that's one person buying a house. Sometimes it's a
Mm-hmm.
couple. Sometimes it's four people buying a house, totally unrelated, that four friends get
Mm-hmm.
together and they want to buy a house. Investors, business owners, there's no two scenarios. And I don't think the computer and the AI can figure out the human aspect yet.
Right.
There's pieces in there that are amazing. Like my loan software, you apply with me, it generates a list of tasks based on how you fill it out. That stuff's amazing. The conversation of those tasks and why we need them, the computer doesn't do that yet.
Mm-hmm.
So there's still the human aspect that's really important. Plus, buying a house is 9 times out of 10 the biggest financial purchase that anyone will make. So that's huge. I don't trust computers enough to give them three, four, $500,000 or whatever. I'm
No.
like, no, I want to talk to a person.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And that's
So.
what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
And you really break it down. So you almost make it feel simple.
It should be. It's not that difficult. It really, and it shouldn't be presented that way. I've got a
Hmm.
client right now who's debating on two different banks and she's going between the two and she's like, the other guy didn't explain any of this to me. I'm
Mm.
like, I don't know. He's a
Yeah.
good dude, but these are the things you need to know. So I'm like, yeah, I break it down and I'm happy to go line by line through all of it.
Fantastic,
Yeah.
fantastic. So let's talk about Solutions by Far, which
Yeah.
is such a clever name. Your last name being Far, and you do bring solutions. So I love
Yeah.
that. That's so clever. And it's such a needed service. What pain point pushed you to launch it?
Yeah, so I also volunteer in 15 different nonprofits. I'm on board and leadership of six of those, and watching not only the nonprofit world in our area, but also the business community struggle with fighting technology. And that's as far as like a simple custom email or email organization. I personally hate email with a passion. Like it's one of my least favorite things, but the automation that I can set up and labels and automatic filtering and things like that. And it really makes it easier, but it's definitely a pain point. And I've noticed, if it's say the Northport Dog Parade in Northport, which is an amazing 501(c)(3) and raises a ton of money for dogs, most of the board members don't want to fight with an email or a website. And so I'm like, well, let me help. I can come in and help fix that. I rebuilt the website. They generated over nine, almost $10,000 on the website this year,
Mhm.
which we've never done before. So that was really exciting to see and
Good
do.
case
And
study.
yeah, it's really cool. And then the entrepreneur too, if they're a baker or a house cleaner or, starting a comedy business and they're like, I'm so good at jokes, but I don't know technology. Like, I don't want to fight with a website or an email or how do I
Right.
do that?
Right.
Or there's no support. A lot of people are like, oh, I'll just get a free email. I'm like, yeah, it's great, except if it gets hacked or if
Hmm.
there's no security or you can't call Google or Microsoft because it's a free account. And they're like, sorry, we
Yeah,
provided the service. That's all you get.
that's it.
Whereas when you pay for a subscription and the custom email domain, you get better support
Better.
and better
Wow.
security.
Very
So,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, that you just wrapped up so many hot points for business. So you brought up the website. I know
Yeah,
you did the Agri Collective.
I did.
That's a
That's
beautiful
still one of my
site.
favorites. Yeah.
That's a
Love
very
that
nice,
website.
very beautiful site, and really breaking it down. I've spoken with many, many of your clients, and they just really love working with you because you really, again, bring it to make it simple. Although I've seen some of and I'm a little techie, and I've seen some of the work you do. You make it simple.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
simple.
There's a lot of back end
There's a
things.
lot of back
And
end, and
I
you.
also like to empower people to do it themselves
Mhm.
so that you can make it as easy to integrate in your business and do it on your own going forward, rather than have to call me or call Google or Microsoft to be like, what's going on with this? And you're empowered. And I always leave a good note sheet to say, hey, reference back to that with the steps we
Mhm.
went through. Sometimes I've done video recordings with them, showing them exactly what we've done. So I'm like, just play that video back when you struggle or when you have that pain
That's
point,
excellent.
and then you can go right back and watch it.
That's
So
so
I'm a
cool.
visual learner, so it helps me.
That is so good.
Yeah.
So you've known for being deeply involved, like you say, 15 organizations. At local events, I see you at so many ribbon cuttings, and you just pop up everywhere. Somebody is having a celebration, or if they need a helping hand. The community engagement, has that added to your business success?
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, yes, I'm in a sales role. I'm a salesperson, but I'm not the salesperson that's like, you go into the store and I'm like, oh, you gotta buy now. You gotta buy now.
Mhm.
A lot of these decisions are long-term big decisions and they take time. I've
Mhm.
had clients on the mortgage side that it was 3 years later that they bought a house or came
Mhm.
to me for the mortgage, but I talked to them every time I saw them and gave them a little
Mhm.
tidbit of information or answered their questions. And it
Mhm.
does take time. So that lead time is a little further out. On the flip side, there are other times when I go to ribbon cutting and I meet the business next door and they're like, I'm fighting with my website. I'm trying to rebrand the company. What's going on? Help. And I'm like, oh, yeah, let's do it tomorrow. Let's jump
Right,
in.
right. And very,
So,
very accessible
yeah.
too.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep.
So from a marketing and finance degree to where you are now, what's been the most surprising turn in your professional journey?
Yeah, I was well, probably not rare in the business school, but I didn't know what I wanted to declare my major until the end of junior year. I took every single class that overlapped, aside from accounting, knew I didn't want to do that. So I took every overlapping business class I could until I had to finally make a decision. And then I had an amazing advisor that was like, if you take one extra class, you can double major in marketing and finance. And I'm like, oh, well, that's why it's a no-brainer. Why not?
Yeah.
Very difficult senior year
Where
with
did you
having two
go?
Grand Valley.
Okay, very
Yep.
cool.
So Grand Rapids and was down there, and yeah, senior year was a little tricky with two capstone classes. Yeah, it was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that part, but
You
it
make it
was fun.
sound so
Yeah,
easy.
I went through it. It was good. I'd say since then, I've acquired my insurance licenses. So I've had my property and casualty, life accident, and health licenses since 2013. So right after college, I got those. And then since I acquired my mortgage license and my real estate license also, which I have all of those, which I've learned from all of those that they're all so interconnected.
Hmm.
And I keep learning as I go through. Like you have to do continuing education. Mortgage is every year, insurance is every 2 years, real estate's It's the most complicated, but there's like a section every year, but it's over 3 years and it's more complicated than it needs to be. But I go to all the classes and continue learning, and it helps to connect all the dots for everyone. And I really
Hmm.
love that. So that surprised me.
Hmm.
I kind of thought, oh, school's done, got my bachelor's degree, done with licensing and testing. And I'm
Right.
like, nope, here I find myself driving to Gaylord 3 years ago to get a real estate license. I was like, oh, I guess I'm doing that now.
Now you do it.
So yeah,
Right, right. That is a
so it's cool.
continual.
I love to learn though.
That's why you're so dynamic, is that you're always open to learning new
Yeah.
things. And I think that's amazing. Isn't it great to have a real estate license when you're dealing with
Mhm.
mortgages? I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty
It's
unusual.
awesome.
That's really
Yeah.
cool.
I did it because often with the contracts on the purchase agreements, I knew the answers to the questions, but legally I couldn't really talk about it. So I'm like, well, if I get my license, then I can answer that
Then you
simple
can.
question of like
Yeah.
on, line 7 of your contract explains that, and now I can actually answer those questions. I still
Fantastic.
defer back to the agents, the realtors, to go through the deeper dive or the negotiating, but if it's a simple question, I'm like, here's the answer. It's easy.
And you know what's going on.
And I
You're
know
not
what's going
like,
on.
okay, this
Yep.
isn't me, so you have the glass eye. No,
Yep.
you get it all the way
Yeah,
through from A to Z. So Northern Michigan is really your home
it is.
and your heart. And so you probably know more about what's happening in Northern Michigan the most. But one of the things where I met you was in an entrepreneurial environment.
Mhm.
And so we're kind of unique in the entrepreneurial spirit that we have here. What do you see happening here from your point of view versus, let's say, the rest of the state and the country? And what should we pay attention to? What makes us a little different in Northern
Yeah.
Michigan?
Yeah, a couple things. I think we're very community oriented here, where I've heard stories of people from California or other states that they're like, if I say my idea, somebody's going to take it and run with it and
Hmm.
make it and do it better or do it whatever. And I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
that's scary. I'm like, here, I think we're more open to, like, I can talk to someone. There's a lady who wants to open an indoor volleyball court. I'm
Hmm.
like, that's an amazing idea.
Hmm.
I don't want to do that, but let me help you meet the people you need to meet. Like I've
Right.
introduced you to the Builders Exchange for commercial builders and like how to find reputable sources for that and realtors. And I'm like, and commercial lenders. I'm like, here, let me help you do what you want to do. I don't want to do it. So
Hmm.
I think that's huge where we have that community where we want to support each other and help build each other up.
Hmm.
And even in the businesses that are competitors, like in the lending space, there are a lot of lenders. Like there are banks, there are mortgage companies, there's credit unions, but a lot of the competition, quote unquote, are my friends. And like we
Hmm.
talk to each other once a week, like we go through scenarios and we're like, I don't know what to do with this. This is weird. Never seen this before. How did you navigate it? And I'm like, oh, yeah, let's help each other out. Or there are products I don't have that they may have, and vice versa. And we'll
Hmm.
pass referrals back and forth. So I think that's unique too, where it's not so cutthroat and we're not, I mean, yeah, competition on paper, but at the end of the day, let's build each other up. And
Hmm.
one of my favorite sayings is a rising tide raises many ships. And I'm
Hmm.
like, I'm a firm believer in that. Like if we
Absolutely.
all raise it up, it's going to help all of
Mm.
us. So yeah,
That sounds amazing. And so we really should continue to pay attention to that so it doesn't change,
yeah,
I would say.
definitely.
I think about California, and you brought up California. It's so sad. They had all of those terrible wildfires in January, and I've heard that because of the environment, I don't know why, but they are not even allowing them to get permits
Oh,
to
wow. Yeah.
rebuild, and so it's just such a contentious and litigious and bureaucratic. And I will say we do have some bureaucracy, but at the end of the day, we're here for the community. And that's number one.
Yep.
So you work with families, homeowners, business owners every day. What's the one piece of financial advice you wished everyone had learned in high school?
So many things. Balancing a bank account, knowing the difference between a savings and a checking account is huge. I wish I would have used a CPA way earlier.
Ah.
When I had my first house and then I bought two more shortly after, and I'm like, oh, I can use the online tax thing. I can figure it out. Then I finally hired a CPA after being in a networking group with him, and he's like, if you would have done this a little different 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it would have saved you $6,000. And I'm like, I
Oh,
just paid you $300 to prepare my taxes. It would have saved me 6,000. I was like, oh, what was I doing? So use the professionals, use the people around you that are there to
right,
help. They're
right.
not as expensive as you think, and especially when you make a costly mistake like I did, where I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
that was painful. I should have just hired someone.
it is
So
painful.
use the resources you have, a good financial advisor, good insurance agent, good lender, good commercial lender if you're looking for business loans. Venture North and the SBDC are
Hmm.
huge resources for
Hmm.
small businesses. They have a lot of services that are
Hmm.
free. Use them. It's huge. Let
Excellent,
people help.
excellent advice. Very, very thoughtful. And that makes me wonder why people feel that they're too small to do it again. We get back to this because we do live in small towns, and we kind of grow up thinking that lawyers and accountants and those are like for big business, but
Mhm.
they're really not.
No,
They're for
they're for
the
all
for all
business.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All shapes and sizes. And a lot of the attorneys and CPAs that I know like the challenge of something different. Like they
Mhm.
like a startup or they like an established business or they like something they haven't worked with before necessarily.
Sure.
So it kind of helps re-engage them as well. So it's cool.
To that point, I think they also love to see the region grow.
Yeah.
And so when they help someone bootstrap, get something started, they
Yeah.
feel like, people support things they create. And
Yeah.
so they feel like they're part of the creation. So that's
Yeah.
really cool.
Really cool.
So you really are an inspiration. You've built your career about helping people, helping the community, and you really are leaving a legacy for the community, and you're not going anywhere.
No.
So what do you see coming in the next 5 to 10 years for our region?
I think people, I think we're going to see more people moving here. I know some people are like, no, it's too small already, too many people already. But I think with your point of like the wildfires and the flooding in Florida and the hurricanes on the other coasts, I think people are going to move here. The ocean, the lake is beautiful. The
Hmm.
oceans are deadly, and we
Hmm.
have the lake, we have the resources, we have the natural beauty, which I think people are reverting back to. The last 5, 6 years, people are realizing, getting out for a hike is huge for your mental health, for your physical health. And some of the bigger cities just don't have that.
Hmm.
Or it's Central Park in New York, and you're like, well, we got this little spot, but it's not quite the same as Northern Michigan, where you can go in any direction and find a trail to go hike on or find a beach, which is amazing. So I think we're going to see a lot more people moving here. I really
What are
do.
we gonna what how should we prepare for that?
It's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. Prepare to sit in traffic for a little longer. More patience. That's
Right.
what
We
I've
want
had
to
to
get
learn.
some
Yeah.
flying cars.
Yeah. I joke that I'm a unicorn and teleport everywhere because I am at everything. And I had to adjust my schedule a little bit to be able to get everywhere at
With them
once
for
with the
traffic
more
that's
traffic
going
and the
on. Right.
construction and all some of it
Right.
too. So,
Well, there we have it. So before we wrap this up, I'm going to ask Brayden one last thing. Do you have anything you'd like to share with
yeah.
our audience before you wrap it up?
Yeah. Yeah. Use the resources you have in the community. Most people are here to help. Most people are around to help grow your business, to help grow you as an individual. Like I've made some of the best friends I've ever made from business, and whether I've actually done business with them, but just the business acquaintances I have. And I joke that I'm a walking Rolodex and kind of know somebody in every industry. And I love that. That's really cool. So lean on that. And yeah, if you are struggling in your business with the tech side, the professional email, you're trying to make a website and you're getting overwhelmed, like give me a call. I'm happy to help with that as well with Solutions by Farr. If you want to buy a house or refinance, happy to help with Citywide. And then if you want to talk about life insurance, happy to help with farmers. We've got an office right in Traverse. So
Excellent. Wow. What a conversation. Brayden Farr isn't just building businesses, he's building people. You can feel it. His whole life is a master class in showing up, lifting others, and making Northern Michigan stronger, one relationship at a time. From mortgages to life insurance to business systems, he's out there helping families stay secure, helping entrepreneurs get organized, and helping communities stay connected. That's the kind of leadership we need more of, and what I love to highlight here on Bullish on Business, the kind that comes from real roots, real values, and a real heart. Brayden, thank you for sharing your story, your passion, and your mission with us today. It's clear you're just getting started. And the impact you're making in Northern Michigan is only going to grow. To everyone listening, if you loved this episode, share it with someone who needs a little inspiration, a little structure, or a little nudge to step into their own greatness. This is Bullish on Business, where we highlight the people who aren't waiting for permission to make a difference. They're out there doing it. Until next time, keep charging forward. And hey, if this episode fired you up, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more people can plug into the momentum we're building here on Bullish on Business.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank
This is
you.
great.
Bye, everyone.
Awesome. Sweet.